Welcome back. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show nationwide on CRN Digital Talk Radio. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm adding a segment each week for my listeners who are giving care to a loved one, friend, spouse, child. You know, there are 67 million family caregivers in America. And when I'm not on the radio, my work is to help caregivers learn how to manage this journey and not lose your life. Now, 67 million is a lot of people, so if you think you're going to avoid becoming a caregiver of some sort, you might want to reconsider. I've asked Isha to stay with us and offer some tips for you if you are caring for a loved one. The single biggest challenge that I hear from caregivers is that they have no time to take care of themselves. They've been robbed of their life. And now you and I know this is not a good strategy, but that's not enough. So, Isha, how does someone get to the point when their own life becomes equally as important as the person for whom they're caring?
You know, I think what you have to realize is that this is your life. This is what you've created, and this is an opportunity for you to be more, to grow as a human and to evolve and to embrace the situation through love. And we always want to change the outside in order to be happy, or we want to change someone externally in order to be happy. And when we just start to embrace our love ourselves exactly as we are, we can embrace and love other people exactly as they are. It's like what you were saying, you know, I wanted to control everything, but then when I decided just to love him exactly as he was,
Right.
I could start to love myself exactly as I was. Because it's not about changing the outside. It's always about changing yourself.
Well, and the thing about being, you know, when caregiving is a part of your life and it's a part of a life for people around the world, it's not just the United States. We seem to have a more difficult time with it than other countries for sure, because I think we have this sort of issue with, you know, people who are aging, whereas other countries revere these people, you know, the aging population. We don't do that here. But what I realized is that, you know, when you're a caregiver, you need to deal with life on life's terms because it's going to change and it's going to evolve. And if you're like a controlling person like I was, you're not going to do so well. and and balance is, you know, very elusive at that point. So if we, and, you know, let's also talk about placing the importance on yourself in this process because, like you said, it's a growing experience, it's a learning experience, it's a love experience, you know, for you as the person who's giving care. It's the greatest gift you can be given, I think.
Sure. Well, I think one of the first things I would imagine, you know, I haven't actually caregiven on that level, but I think one of the first things that I would imagine is that the people start to mirror a lot of aspects of you to you. And that place where they feel dependent and they're used to being independent and you're feeling that you're not independent anymore because you have to take care of them, it's like a big mirror. And I think it's very important that what you're feeling you take internally and you connect with what's going on with you instead of trying to change them or change the situation. I know on a practical level you'd have to organise things well and all the rest of it, but it could be an incredible growth tool, I would imagine.
You
Because
are
whoever you're with,
you are the
yeah?
only person who has ever said about the mirroring, and you're absolutely right. And I'm sitting here dumbfounded. But you're absolutely right. Brilliant. Again, brilliant. You're just brilliant.
Oh, you're so darling.
No one's
I'm going
ever
to ring
said
tomorrow as well.
that. Okay, call tomorrow, but y'all have to give you my home phone number. You'll have to call me there. And don't you think that when we're caring for a parent or a sibling, that forgiveness from the past is just a huge part of this, whether you've done it or not? I mean, you're a spiritual teacher, so we have to forgive.
You know, to let go of resentment is the most fulfilling thing that can possibly happen to any human. And it's not even, it's just about letting go of the energy and the resentment. You evolve so rapidly because when you realize that you're a creator, you can also see that everything that you've created in your life has been an opportunity for you to have this experience.
Yeah.
And you get to a point where you can choose who you want to be within this experience. But to hold on to regrets or to not heal, especially if it's a family member. It's so important that you heal the family, because in reality, all of the initial separation from your experience of that innocence and joy comes from the family, because you start looking externally for love. So if you feel abandoned or betrayed, or that they treated one sibling better than the other, it's such a wonderful opportunity to open your heart and to share these things, but to let them go, like to let go of all of the resentment, so that ultimately all that's left is this flow of unconditional love between you and the
Right.
person that you're taking care of.
Right. So that, this final walk with your loved one is something that you're not left with a bunch of regrets and sadness and frustration and unfinished business. So I think when,
Absolutely.
you can't enter into the caregiving world with this sense of obligation. I have to do this, a negative attitude. It's because it's a gift. It's really, really a gift. And yeah, I just think it's important to embrace that, and to definitely, be aware of the fact that you're really an angel in somebody else's life, and maybe it's just the way you look at it. So I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be back with Isha for our final segment. Stay with us. You're listening to the Cindy Laverty Show.